But joining us on the program right now, very pleased to have with us Congressman Paul Gosar from Arizona. Congressman, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Cam. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on the program. Gun control is certainly a hot topic now in both the Senate and the House, because I understand that come Monday, a couple of your colleagues in the House say they want to introduce a measure that they say mirrors the Schumer, Manchin, Toomey, Kirk proposal.
Debacle, you mean?
Yeah, your words, not mine, Congressman. Is that how you would describe that that bill?
I absolutely would. Doing these universal background checks with the way they're written. I mean, every transaction would have to be reported, and everybody, if you didn't, you would be committing potentially a felony. And once again, we're putting good people who follow laws in harm's way, and we're doing nothing for the crimes that are being occurred by criminals and felons. And we've got a Justice Department that's out of whack. I mean, you look, Cam, at how we slap people on the wrist. I know of a case in Arizona. A young kid on meth with two other buddies decides to hold up an individual and fleece him down and uses a gun. 24 hours later, he's got a slap on the hands and nothing less.
Wow.
But, this is our Justice Department at work here. And we got criminals that need to have penalties all the way across the board. So we have to have a deterrent, and we need to uphold the rule of law.
So where would you like to see the attention focus, Congressman?
On upholding the rule of law. First of all, that there are consequences for bad behavior, and it starts with the Department of Justice and the guys by the name of Lanny Brewer and Eric Holder. We got a bill that was introduced over here in the House that talks about penalties for straw purchases and gun running. Cam, we've talked about this a long time ago. That to me is the Eric Holder Lanny Brewer bill.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, my heart hurts for these parents and for families that have these violent acts, that happen to them. But we also have to look at it appropriately. Our God-given privileges are to make sure that we're looking at these in a proper light, but to hold people personally accountable and personally responsible. And, you look at over and over and again in these, and do these gun laws, will they make anything different for the future for those crimes of Newtown? Are they going to help them? No. Are they going to help the Gabby Giffords? Nope. It's not going to happen. But when you do a national registry, this is just another step in this administration to get a gun list for the government. That's the same thing that occurred in Nazi Germany, Mao's China, everywhere else where we had mass insurrection of a government taking over and abusing its people.
Talking with Congressman Paul Gosar, Congressman, are you concerned that would happen?
I am. I mean, we've been talking about this in two issues. One close, both of them are close to my heart, but one close to me in my state, Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. Here we actually allowed guns to walk. We actually had ATF agents telling people to our federal firearms dealers to give guns to international thugs and drug cartel members. And then we even knew about it. I mean, that's why it's so important to get the documentation, because the IG's report is written in the comparison and contrast. So they must have known about Operation Wide Receiver in detail. They knew that there was a loss of half the guns out of 400 in Wide Receiver, but yet they still went through with over 2,000 guns. And what were they expecting? And where's the accountability to the people like the Brian Terry family and the over 300 Mexican people who have lost their lives? And then second of all is accountability from our government for our military folks and those people trying to protect this country in Benghazi. Where are the answers, and where is the accountability here? The government should not be engaged in illegal activities, and we should send people to jail, make them being held accountable for the same crimes that are occurring.
Well, and as I understand it as well, Congressman, even beyond Fast and Furious, I understand that your colleagues in the House, including Representative Darrell Issa, are asking more questions about an operation in Milwaukee, even more recently.
There is no shortage of problems with this administration and the purview of justice. And that's why I continue to press for passage of my resolution of no confidence in the Attorney General, because I think that's an important step in acknowledging Congress will not stand for bureaucrats that abuse the public's trust and put lives at stake. there has to be consequences for people.
So where is that a resolution right now, Congressman?
Well, it's we forwarded it to the Judiciary Committee, and we're hoping that people will call their congressman to get them back on. A lot of people have chosen not to jump back on because they're afraid of retaliation versus this Attorney General and this administration. And so we need to get this out, and we need to be bold, we need to be strong, and we need to be forthright upholding the rule of law.
Congressman, you said something that I suspect people like President Obama would find very controversial. You said that this bill that is going to be voted on would not have stopped the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary. And I think you're right about that. But yet the president and those who are pushing, at this point now, it seems like anything that they can call a victory, are using the families who lost children at Sandy Hook Elementary, at least those families who support gun control measures. I mean, this has turned into almost a campaign of shame, as we've been calling it. If you don't support what the president is calling for, then you don't care about these families and you don't care about these children.
It has been using classic fear-mongering and theater, and it is disrespectful to these families. They are used as innocent pawns, especially in an emotional and a crisis moment in their lives. I can't even imagine what they're going through. And to have idle minds and deceptive minds like the president's and the mayor of Bloomberg of New York to be utilizing in that is disrespectful and disgraceful.
So, Congressman, do you anticipate, where do you see things going in the House right now in terms of the gun control debate itself?
Well, I think what's going to happen is we will see what transpires in the Senate. I think that they'll see possibly some early voting as early as next Tuesday. And then I am very interested, and I kind of find it kind of interesting that it would be New York and California, stakeholders introducing that same bill here. I wish they'd come out to Arizona and play in our game and play in our reference, maybe walking a mile in our moccasins. Maybe they'd have a little different take about things. But I find it just the hypocrisy of those two states' delegations introducing this. But I think the firepower will come out.
Well, Congressman, again, I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much. What are you hearing from your constituents? I'm sure you're hearing don't vote for gun control, but is the call volume? I mean, are people engaged? Are the phones ringing all the time?
They are. What they're asking for is to hold people responsible for holding criminals accountable. Mandatory sentences when you have crimes and felonies, hideous crimes that are utilizing a firearm in the commission of a felony. We want to have our judicial system work and make sure that people know that there's accountability for their actions. And more than anything else, this administration has shown the lack of that respect. Is that it's not my problem. I blame somebody else. It's never their problem. It's never the president's problem. It's never Eric Holder's problem. Here's a guy that was a U.S. attorney that read everything as far as what I heard. Mm-hmm. And then when something's presented on his desk that's of important information from Gary Grindler, he refuses to read it or didn't look, or he looked the other way. Oh, my God. If you have nothing to hide, then share the information with us. I want people, to be held accountable just like I'm being held accountable and just like people back home. But people back home do not trust government. They do not trust this government. And it is overwhelming. And, he can hardly blame them, Cam. Every time Arizona raises their ideas or their thought process, we may not agree with them, but at least, they're bringing up the subject matter because it's paramount to have that discussion. This administration comes over and puts their thumb in our eye and sticks their fingers in our eye and goads us. What about working with Arizona? Because we're part of the solution, because we're asking questions.
Listen, Congressman, you're always part of the conversation here, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking again very soon.
Cam, thanks for keeping this on the hot seat. And we actually sent a letter to Congressman Goodlatte to push this resolution of no confidence. So, folks, call your members of Congress, have them sign up as co-sponsors, and let's get this back in order.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Cam.